Welcome, everybody, to the first of many talks from Simpro to help field services businesses, especially our customers, identify, navigate new innovations in technology, not only to help manage the day to day complexities of running a business, but how we can all leverage technology and innovation to advance the business. Today, we're going to tackle a topic that seems to be one of the hottest buzzwords out there, AI. Even my dad is trying to infuse this in our conversations. But today, we're going to really discuss how AI is driving efficiencies, improving decision making, and helping trade businesses stay ahead of the curve in this extremely evolving marketplace. But just quick way of introductions. I'm Jason Smith. Relatively new to Simpro. I'm the GM of financial services, specifically payments. I have spent a lot of time in the payments world and working with field service companies in understanding how payments and financial services can help evolve their businesses. But Jason, moving on to you as Chief Product and Technology Officer, you've been at Simpro almost 2 years now. Why don't you give our audience a quick glimpse into your world?
All right. Well, thanks, Jason. Thanks for that introduction. So yeah, my focus is to lead product development. And what that essentially boils down to is obviously having a roadmap for the next 12 months and then having some strategic direction over the coming years. How we get there is going to be a combination from doing our own in-house development, working with partners, industry partners, and then occasionally doing acquisitions where it makes sense. So I've been involved in product development my whole career. It's something I'm very passionate about. Actually, even from my childhood, I was one of those kids that pulled everything apart to figure out how it all worked, much to the dismay of my brother and sister who found all their toys and pieces. But, eventually I figured out how to put them all back together again and sometimes even fix them. Anyway, back to what I'm doing here. I'm obviously very passionate about the trade industry. And prior to working at Simpro, I spent several years in fleet management, actually. And that was what really opened my eyes into the world of the trades industries and how big an impact certain technologies can have on the operations and growth for trade businesses. And other exciting thing about working with trades businesses is that the things that we do for our customers, we see the results very quickly, or our customers see the results very quickly. Large enterprise customers, it can take some time to adopt and deploy and see the results, but small to medium businesses, see those results quite quickly. So that's what's exciting for me, and really, my North Star then, as someone who leads the product and technology side of it, is just to help our customers manage and grow their businesses leveraging technology, and that's my focus.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. And I think we are all very grateful that you're here at Put All the Toys Back Together and helping us at Simpro. But I'm guessing they didn't team us up on this, because we're the Jason squared here, but really because you're driving a ton of the product technology innovations. And in my world, I'm heavily focused on the go-to-market growth with our customer base. I think that's a nice combination, the, Iron Man, Spider-Man, if you will, as we think about these things. But I got a bigger question. So in the world of AI, I think I've seen everywhere on LinkedIn. Have you created your AI superhero yet?
What do you mean by AI superhero?
Oh, it's everything I'm seeing. Everybody's going into ChatGPT, typing in some prompts, uploading a picture. Everybody's got their superhero trading card. I'll share mine with you later. I think you need to get on.
I'd like to see that. I had an action model created, and I have like 3 tools. But one of them includes what I like in my personal life as a guitar. But I also have a little robot as one of my tools because I am a big fan of AI and technology. So one of my tools is a robot.
So let's get into it. As Simpro's Chief Product Technology Officer, you're speaking to customers across our 30,000 plus customers on an ongoing basis, especially those in the SMB world. I'm sure you're getting a ton of feedback that ranges widely, but what are some of the challenges that you're hearing from them that are most urgent that you and your team are taking a look at now?
Yeah, and this goes across the board. It's relevant for AI, but it's really just it's almost independent of AI. It's about automating workflows. So companies just want to be more efficient. There's a lot of manual data they are working with. For those companies that went from paper, right, and now are using software. Still, even when they're using software systems, there's a lot of manual processes and data entry and things like that, and communications with customers. It can be inefficient. So automating workflows, I'd say, is number one. Then it's about resource optimization, I would say, and this is ensuring like the right technician is at the right place at the right time, for the right job, and maximizing their productivity, because they're core to obviously that business. And then the other thing I would say is on cash flow management. I mean, if you think about businesses there, it's all about cash flow. I mean, it's central to a business, right? From the moment a job is created, you're quoting and you're invoicing and your payment and dealing with the variations along the way. Nothing is clean, right? You quote a job, but you start a job, there's going to be a lot of variances. And then managing the cash flow and dealing with suppliers, it can be tricky. So I think that's another area that we hear from customers, that they try to balance all of these things.
That's amazing. And I think it's very synergistic to some of the AI innovations that you guys are looking at and we're looking at as a whole to help our customers evolve and drive their business. So let's get into the meat of, the AI party, if you will, for Simpro. I'll start off easy with a nice softball for you. In reality, I think AI, I talked about this being a buzzword and everybody's talking about it. Why don't you help, I guess, educate us or educate me on what is the power of AI and how is it relevant to our business in field services and the trades?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, because we sort of just jump straight to a solution, but what are the problems we're trying to solve? Well, if we just start with what AI is and what it isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a catch-all sort of phrase, right? It's a catch-all term for a whole range of technologies that actually been around for some time. You might have heard machine learning being discussed long before AI was sort of spoken about, but machine learning is a form of AI. Traditionally, we've been talking about AI as and large language models, with the advent of ChatGPT and similar tools. They're large language models. The probability of the next word occurring in a sentence, that's exactly how LLMs work. But then we've got all these other types. There's large action models, which do similar things, but instead of predicting a sentence, we'll actually go and do tasks. We've got optical character recognition. They've been around. It's been around for a while. Augmented reality, image recognition, and there's a whole lot more. And we put that together and we say that is AI. Now, for field services, I would just say it's another tool in our belt, right? And if you you carry a hammer's good for certain tools. Actually, my brother's an accountant. A hammer does everything for him, but I'm just thinking of him. But but tools are designed for specific jobs, and AI is very, very similar. And I think where it's going to be most relevant for the trade and field services is around automation, improved accuracy, being less reactive and kind of be more proactive. And so a couple of examples of that, just so I'm not going to be sort of talking too much at a high level, but first-time fix rates. When you send a technician out to the field, you don't want them to be going out again and again for the same job. So the way to prevent that is having better data upfront about what's going on site, so that when they go out there, they're going to fix the job. So there's technology out there already called IoT, Internet of Things, monitoring equipment remotely and being able to be better prepared to go and repair equipment on site. And the other thing is using AI to look historically at that data and be more proactive. I wouldn't say necessarily predictive yet, maybe down the road, but that's hard to do. You have a very large data sets to correlate to get to the element of being able to be predictive, but at least be more proactive. And so AI can help see those patterns over time that maybe a human can't see. AI can help with scheduling. matching the right technician to the job, as I mentioned earlier. And I think just overall productivity improvements. I'll give you one example. Speaking to our customers at Symposium, they said that about 6 to 8 hours a week of a technician's time is considered unproductive.
Yeah.
So they're doing, admin tasks, anything that's really taking them away from the core of what they do, and obviously anything that's revenue generating for the business, that's unproductive. So there's a lot of tools now in AI that will enable us to improve that. So some of it's customer communication, writing up job notes, finding information in the field more quickly. That time-consuming work, we want to shrink that down. So I'd say that that's a really a good example of how AI can be put to use as a lot around productivity.
I love that. I think, unproductive inefficiencies, I think those are core tenets to a lot of this. It's funny, I do a lot of DIY projects at the house, and yes, I screw a lot of them up. And I have a lot of services out at the house, and I'm absolutely shocked how antiquated the engagement is. And a lot of it's on paper still. A lot of these companies don't have the mobile capabilities for a collection or a payment.
Yeah.
And I have to write a physical checks, and I get physical hard copy of these things. And it's a little bit shocking, especially with some of the diagnosis. So thinking about this in that regard, especially with the unproductive inefficiencies, how hard do you think it is for a trade business to migrate or leverage the power of AI tools to help them evolve their business? I got to imagine if it was easy, they would have already done it by now or jumped on the bandwagon. What do you see, or what are some of your recommendations?
Yeah, it's easy when you know how, but there's a step function. I think that
Yeah.
there's a hurdle you sort of have to get over to be familiar with what it can do and what it can't do. And then once you get your mind around that, then it becomes easier to adopt. So my advice then, basically, to answer your question, is just a step at a time, like you would do anything. And I would start experimenting and do it small, and become personally familiar with the technology. So use tools like ChatGPT, get familiar with some of the general capabilities. Then you start to see, oh, I see the magic here. I can see what it can do and what it can't do. And then start to look at areas of the business where there's a lot of manual, sort of repetitive tasks, data entry, things like that. And that's where AI is really good at having an impact. So, and there's a lot of tools out there that can do that sort of stuff. So I would focus small, pick some of those tasks, but then you really need to pick a champion within the company, within your business. Pick a champion, someone who is maybe more open to this, or the explorer. And every company sort of has an explorer, and allow that person to then go and look at some of the products and capabilities that are around. But obviously at Simpro, that's what we're here for, right? I mean, that's my job, is to build capabilities into the product so our customers can leverage them. So hopefully we will take a lot of the sting out of that sort of leap into AI for customers, and that will enable them to adopt faster.
Interesting. There's a lot of fears too, I think. I love the evolution that you're talking about to help these customers along, because I'm not an Uber technologist, but I think you're right. I think a lot of the AI tools that are out there have knocked down a lot of those barriers to get into this and start to dabble and to test. But I also think in the trades, there might be a lot of fears or perceptions of AI taking over, taking jobs. It's funny, the engineers or the technicians are often the first person that you meet, or the one that comes into your house or your shop, etc. How do you see AI empowering the employees or the technicians versus replacing them in kind of the day-to-day operations?
Yeah, well, I don't think technicians are going to be replaced anytime soon. I think that's true for a lot of jobs. Really, what's going to happen is that I might get replaced by another technology guy who is using AI. It's not that my job's going to go away. It's just that somebody who is using AI is going to replace me because they'll be able to be more efficient. But it takes time for companies to gain trust in data and trust in AI. So it's going to take time. But I don't think that anyone's job is going to get replaced. That fear factor, I think, is more just a comfort level of, do we have trust in these systems? Because there's the terms like hallucination. It can make stuff up. So I would say that there needs to be humans to verify the outputs of some of these systems to ensure that we have confidence in them.
Yeah, that's amazing. And depending on where we are in the AI life cycle of all of this, and I know you've been looking at this for a while now, and putting your trades hat, your field service management hat on, what do you think are the biggest opportunities for our customers or our prospects that are looking at one platform over another? What are we bringing to the table as we're forward thinking and looking about some of these things?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of stuff that's, I would say, in discovery, around business insights and in-app assistance and using AI to search and intelligent search. But we have a lot of stuff in the roadmap that's coming out the rest of this year. We have a lot around job routing, quoting, scheduling assistance, defect management for assets. They're in the works, and they'll be out in the coming months towards the end of this year. And then we have a product that's going to be available in the coming weeks. Actually, it's AI job notes. So a technician can hit the magic button and create the job notes automatically, just loosely based on a few of their own points, and that'll make a lot of communication easier back to the customer and the back office.
Yes, it's amazing. I think it's, as you're talking through some of these things and as we're having conversations with these customers, it doesn't feel to me, and keep me honest here, that we're going down an AI path versus, as we're looking at the Simpro platform and evolving the platform based on customer needs, I think it's all interwoven or behind the scenes, if you will.
100%. Yeah, we only want to use AI where it makes sense. Just be pragmatic about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. As we're coming up to the end here, you've put on a masterclass on kind of how we think about this. Are there any elements that we haven't addressed yet that, we should be thinking about, or, I'm being too myopic on looking at kind of that growth for our customer perspective, but anything back office that we've overlooked?
I think AI is a great technology that we need to leverage, but I wouldn't say it was going to replace our core workflows for field service management. I would just say it's just going to increase the efficiency and output so that we can focus on the core areas of a business that lead to growth and customer satisfaction. So I think those core workflows are going to remain the same. It's just that we'll get better at implementing them.
Well, when we have this conversation in 6 months, maybe the whole thing will have changed, and we'll have jumped and we fixed, next leaps and bounds to the whole thing.
Yeah, I expect so.
Yeah, well, we're hoping so. Jason, that was amazing. Thank you. And I guess as we move on to the closing here, I want to say thanks. I feel much more educated about not just AI and the models, but truly of how we're thinking about this in the context of our world, of the trades and field services, and why it matters to them so much and what we can do. And, to be perfectly honest, I think the Jason and Jason simulcast here is really working. But seriously,
it's a thing.
Thank you. And thank you on behalf of our customers and some of the prospects. But, you've nailed it. And, as I look at the core themes that we've talked about here and, that we're thinking about, and you're already well steps ahead of most people in this, is the efficiencies gained by adopting AI in everyday workflows. 2, the ability to predict the potential issues or downtimes or stumbles out in the marketplace when our technicians are out there. 3, using AI to deliver, I guess, on the already growing customer expectations. They may not know that they need some of these things, but what you guys are building and have built, we're already ahead of those expectations. And I think most importantly, the way you've laid it out, it's really about just take those little steps, those baby steps to get into the market or to get in and start leveraging some of these technologies that we've built. But that is just my summarization. But I don't know. What did I miss?
No, I think you hit all the main points there, and I agree with you that like a lot of technology, it can be overwhelming at first as you get into it. But if you start to take small bites at it, then you'll be able to see how you can adopt it. And I think you hit on the main benefits there for our customers, and I'm excited to be a part of it. It's an exciting time to be in this industry because it's ripe for innovation. And like I said at the very, very beginning, the great thing about being in the trades industry is that we make just some small improvements. We see the benefits right away, and everybody wins in that scenario.
Yep, I agree. We have to leverage the innovations and technologies are there, and then the growth will happen. Yep. So Jason, thank you very much again. This was amazing, outstanding, and I look forward to seeing your action figure out there.
Yes. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, I need to see yours. All right. See you.